Hello, I'm Ingrid. In this talk, I'd like to present some of the principles behind teaching effective oral communication. In other words, how best to improve our students' speaking skills. The whole point of learning English for most students is to be able to use it and to be able to speak it. Even if they can't immediately see a need for it, the chances are that they will, at some point, want to talk to an English-speaking person, whether in their own country or abroad. But how do we get them to speak, and to speak with confidence? I'd like to divide this talk into three parts. The first part looks at some of the problems of motivating teenagers. Then I'll mention briefly why many teenagers are reluctant to speak. And the third part will look at 5 principles for developing effective speaking skills. Let's move straight on to the first part, the problem of motivating teenagers. Teachers very often complain that teenagers have a low rate of concentration and motivation in class. This can be due to large classes with mixed levels of ability, a difficult home background, perhaps a poor experience of learning English in the past. But there is also the obvious fact of the onset of adolescence and all that that implies. Usually a preoccupation with themselves, their friends, their lives outside the classroom, and often a lack of confidence, quite common at this age. This last point leads naturally on to the next section. Why many teenagers can be reluctant to speak. There are many reasons. The first is that they may be unmotivated and feel that the sort of work they do in the classroom is irrelevant to their lives. Then some teenagers are shyer than others, can feel embarrassed about speaking in front of their peers, and a few may find it frustrating. They want to say something, but they haven't got the language to say it. Another reason is that they may know nothing or very little about the topic, or perhaps it holds no interest for them. And lastly, they don't want to make mistakes in front of their teacher or their peers. It's a loss of face. So, bearing in mind these inhibitions, I repeat, the reason why most people want to learn a language is to be able to speak and communicate in it. So how can we build confident speakers of English? How can we help students to develop effective speaking skills? Like most learning experiences, it has to be done in stages. I'm going to look at 5 principles for developing speaking skills. Principle number 1. It seems a truism, but in order to learn how to speak English, students need to hear it spoken first. They need good models of simple, natural English, where the characters are people they can identify with, where the context is not only crystal clear, but relevant to their lives and interests. Here's a presentation dialogue where 2 friends are discussing what they're going to give someone as a birthday present. While they listen, students hear not only the target grammar in context, as you can see highlighted in red, but also some interesting functional language and everyday expressions like, "What a nightmare! That's amazing." Very often, it's the special phrases and expressions that the students remember rather than the grammar. So, dialogues are important as the students get to hear natural English in context, spoken by people their own age. They get a chance to repeat the lines as often as they like, to act out the dialogue in pairs, and so get thoroughly familiar with the sound of the spoken language before being asked to use it in other contexts. When it comes to less structured use of English, where students are asked to give answers that are true about themselves, many of them become tongue-tied. The fear of making a mistake, of getting it wrong, can be inhibiting. So it's important to give a carefully controlled framework to follow so that shyer students feel confident about speaking. Here, in this example, the students are practicing the present perfect and the past simple in the context of music and music festivals. In the exercise that follows, the students have to expand the question and give true answers, but in a controlled framework. If the students are genuinely interested in the topic, this can very often lead on to further conversation. Teachers often say that the most successful lessons occur when they are acting out short situations that they recognise, like shopping for clothes, buying a ticket, ordering food in a cafe. This area of communication is what's sometimes called transactional language and is perfect for getting students to use their English effectively from the very beginning. Let's look at an example. Imagine a teenager wants to buy some tickets to go to the cinema. What language does he need? Here's the printed version of the exchange. But to motivate the students even more, teachers can bring the context to life by using an interactive functional video with a real teenager speaking.
Can I have 2 teenage tickets for The Hobbit, please?
Which performance? The 6:45 or the 8:15?
The 6:45, please. How much is that?
That's £12, please.
Students generally like to talk about themselves. We all do. It's easier than giving opinions on topical issues. This is because we don't have to struggle to find something to say or wonder if it's worth saying. So it's important to find as many opportunities as possible to encourage students to personalise the material they're studying. This is why questionnaires can be a good way to get students to speak about themselves. If students have no interest in the topic, they won't speak. But exchanging opinions and ideas and talking about things that matter, that's a very real part of communication. So the first thing is to ensure that the topic is interesting, not too specialised, and something that's within their own life experience. For instance, problems with parents, friends, school, relationships. In this lesson, the topic is computer game addiction. The emphasis is on listening and speaking, with tasks that encourage students to speak their mind and say what they think. The students are given 2 types of help. First of all, a speaking tip, and this one focuses on the language you need for giving and responding to opinions, words and phrases that are simple but natural, like, I think, in my opinion, really? And after that, they're given some ideas on which to base their opinions, so they can't say, I've got nothing to say. Another topic where students usually have plenty to say is exams. If you've had a short discussion in class about how to relax before an exam, and you have access to an interactive whiteboard, you can provide extra incentive for speaking by showing a video blog or vlog of a conversation on the same topic.
Hi guys, it's Lucy. Welcome to my blog. I'm here with my friend Michael.
Hiya.
How are you feeling today, Michael?
I'm a little worried, to be honest.
Worried? Why?
Because I've got an exam coming up and quite nervous.
I know a really great way for you to relax before exams.
Really? Could you teach it to me?
Of course, of course. So, sit with your back straight.
Okay.
And touch your ears with your fingers.
Okay.
And then massage your ears.
Mhm.
And close your eyes.
Okay.
Okay, so breathe slowly. And just relax. Yeah, that's good.
Feels nice.
Do you feel relaxed?
Yeah, it's working.
If you guys know any ways to relax before exams, let us know, or you can try this one at home.
Bye.
To summarise, the aim of any language course is to make sure that language learning is a positive and rewarding experience. And if we spend enough time building up speaking skills, we can almost guarantee a positive outcome for every student, from the high achiever to the more reluctant member of the class. The moment they realise that they can communicate effectively, that English is something that they can actually use, is the moment when it becomes motivating to learn more. Thank you for listening, and if you'd like to hear some tips for helping students with written skills, watch out for my next talk. Goodbye for now.